Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the Water Bearer podcast for another episode. So, we're almost done with season 7. I can't believe it. Season 7, in case this is your first time watching, this season is all about compatibility. And so, last season, one of the fan favorites was the episode that I did with Jalisa Danielle. And so, I thought, okay, wow, this would be great to have her back this season to talk about numerology. She's an astrologer and she is also a numerologist. So I want to definitely get her views on compatibility, but from that numerology perspective. So make sure y'all go back and watch the episode that we did last season as well. It was definitely really good. So before we bring her out, again, welcome to the show. If it's your first time watching, great. If this is you've been here since day one, ride or die, every episode. Happy to see you back again. Also, sharing is caring, but subscribing is thriving. So, hey, we want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time there is an update or an upload to the channel, and you won't miss any content. And you can catch the drip every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And for the social media info, if you're not already doing so, you can follow me on Instagram at Poetic, and that's PEAUXETIC, and TikTok for the next 70-ish days or so, I guess. Poetic with the number 7 at the end, PEAUXETIC, the number 7. And make sure you follow Jalisa as well on these platforms. She's on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Jalisa, JALISA _Danielle, DANIELLE. And you can also find her on, I feel like I'm just being rebellious. I don't want to call it X. So I know that it's called X, but I'm just used to saying Twitter. You can find her on Twitter as well. Jalisa Danielle, it's a little different there. So same spelling, but all together. And an underscore is at the end of Danielle instead of in the middle of Jalisa and Danielle, as it is on the other platforms. So before I bring her out, and one more thing. You can also book your birth chart readings and go to Jalisa's website for all of her information, Jalisa Danielle astrology.com. Again, that's Jalisa Danielle astrology.com. So you know how we do on this show. I always mention a famous person of the sign, the guest that I have on. So Jalisa's sun sign is Aquarius, just like mine. So a famous Aquarius is Alicia Keys. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Jalisa out with us.
I'm going to do one of those, oh, hi.
Right. I wasn't expecting you. Right.
Oh. I was and I was trying to think you were going to pick as the famous person. I was like, better be somebody good.
Oh, like, how do you feel about Alicia Keys? I know she's kind of mixed review person with a lot of people.
Okay, I know this is going to be weird, but I've gotten compared to her before. And this was
I can see that.
Many, many years ago, though. And I was like, why do people keep saying I look like Alicia Keys? Like, I'm 20 years old, and I'm like, I don't see that at all. Maybe it was
you know what? Okay, so I'm as soon as you said that in my head, I started imagining you with the cornrow, the braids like she used to have. And yeah. I can see it. I
don't know what people say. I've been compared to people that I'm like, oh, how did you even see this?
Oh, that's funny.
I thought you were going to say like Gucci Mane or something.
You know? Oh, wait. He's an Aquarius too?
Aquarius.
That makes sense because he's very different. That's on brand for Aquarius. I can see that. Well, yes, happy to have you on again. Thank you so much for coming back to the show and gracing us with your presence. And before we get started, if you don't mind sharing your birthday with the viewers and the listeners.
I don't really tell my birthday, but it's probably
okay. Oh. Well, we can just say you're an Aquarius. We can leave it at that.
February. I'll say February. I mean, if people can guess it, they can take a guess. But there are, when I tell people that there's 3 different, decans or deacons, of each sign. So the first half, the middle half, and the last half. So take a guess as to which half, which third, and yeah.
Okay.
People know that too, and then they start arguing me in the comments about that. I'm like, no, it's not January, February. There's 3 types of each sign.
Okay. So with the decans, and is that in line with just the chronological dates that go within signs?
Yeah, each one is ruled by like a different planet. Like if you're born in like the last half of February, then you would be ruled by Venus. You could also be ruled by Saturn. You'd be ruled by Mercury. So that's why some are a lot more serious than others, or some are more about the luxury and the beauty, and so there's different. So it goes very deep, and also numerology, the day you're born too.
Yeah, so with that, you posted a video that I saw, and first of all, I love all your content. Every time I see it, I'm like, yep, I agree.
I'm really mad about today.
I love it. But you had posted something about people who were born on the 4th, and I was like, damn, it was so spot on. And I wasn't introduced to that concept until a couple of years ago when I first started this podcast. I had another guest on who she has more of a specialty, I guess you could say, in numerology, where like you have both. She doesn't really specialize in the astrological aspect as much, but she was telling me some things too about 4s, and I was like, wow, it was creepy. I found it to be more accurate, honestly, than the Aquarius characteristics.
Yeah, and it's funny. I reposted because I'll like repost content, and I had somebody comment. And it's weird because like I watch her lives, and 4 is known for like hard work, and like they really value that, and also value it in other people. Like don't be lazy,
Yes.
That's when we first did this, I was like, I appreciate how you had everything, like the email, the day, the time, the calendar, that like very like meticulous, and people who actually work hard pay attention to those kind of things. And some people I've turned down stuff because like I'm like, what are you doing? Like, come on, So
give me some details.
She was born on the 13th. But when I watch her lives, it's always like, you people are lazy, and all of you. I mean, she's yelling at people. And she commented to me, she was like, oh my gosh. Like, she's like, well, yeah, people need to work harder. I'm like, no, that's just y'all's birthdays. Believe that. Not the day before, not the day after.
Yeah.
Weeks are like that. So yeah, it definitely will change the personality.
Yeah. I've had to, as I've gotten older, I've had to accept that everyone else doesn't work or think the way that I do, because I feel like, well, if I have time to do it, how do you not have time to do it? Or if this is easy to me, then why is it not, maybe not as easy to you, but at least a fraction of how easy I think it is in my head. And so that's, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, would that be anybody? I know you said she's on the 13th. So like anyone whose birthday like adds up to a 4. So like 4, 13, 31, and 22.
Yeah. I mean, each number does carry a different vibration. So the 4 person and the 13 person are going to be different as well, because the 1 and 3 are different, but they do carry similar type. Like if you talk to somebody who's born on the 13th, y'all probably will agree on the work aspect, or being like, yeah, people are lazy around here. Same type of agreement on things. Of course, it's not like every single person, because like I'll post something on TikTok and I'll say about the number, and then they'll be like, well, I know somebody who, I'm like, oh my gosh, like 100, like there's so many different other factors, but people don't understand the depth. But also people are not self-aware. People are not self-aware. Like you could I could say to you like, well, you always tell everyone they're lazy, or and then like, no, I don't. Or, people do that, and I'm like, yes, you do. Like, you literally do those things. So that's the other factor. That's why people don't believe or understand it, because they're not self-aware. They're like, I'm that birthday and I don't do that. It's like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. So
Yeah. And I agree. I agree with that, because I feel like sometimes it takes somebody else seeing you outside of yourself. So like now, I don't agree with the core of what this person said. I've never in my life been called a narcissist, except for one person called me that.
yeah.
And
So then
right, except for that. Yeah. So I have technically.
Yeah.
So while I didn't agree with the overall label, I will say that when I looked at some of the traits of a narcissist, the grandiose thinking, and I'm not like that at all. But one of them that I definitely can say that I've exhibited before is the lack of empathy. And the reason the reason why I'm like that is because I feel like I do have it, but I'm also one of those people where it's like, okay, at what point do you stop feeling sorry for yourself, and at what point do you stop playing the victim?
Yeah.
So to other people, that can come off as, oh, you lack empathy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well, I mean, and Aquarius is known for the detachment stereotype. And Aquarius is the masculine energy, so it's logic. Air signs and fire signs are the masculine ones, so they look at like, what are the facts? It's not about feelings.
Yeah.
So, I would tell my students that I'd be like, tears don't move me. Like, what's the problem? What's the situation? Like, tell me what's going on, and remove the emotional part. Now I'm a human. I still feel. I'm a water rising, so I have some emotions there. Okay, but overall, it can be, it just can come across like that. So that's why looking into birth dates and the day, the person born on the 1st is totally different born on the person on the 2nd. They can both be Aquarians. They can both be born in the same year, at the same time. But that date can change the whole personality. So,
wow. Okay. So you said something that I want to unpack and get your information on. I knew this would be interesting. I feel like there's so many things in my head I'm trying to wrangle together to ask. But you mentioned the male energy of certain signs. And so I imagine, I guess, with the water and earth signs, are they more female energy driven?
Feminine energy is just feminine energy is creative energy. People who are maybe more nurturing, or they understand or appeal more on emotions. Like, you can win them over with a child, crying in Africa, or having some kind of like dirty shoes or something, that for them it's like, but if you tell like a masculine or the logical signs, like, this person hasn't eaten in 10 days, and it's like, whoa, like, that's the numbers is what gets them, more. It's the logic behind it. Not like, oh, they're starving. It's like, okay, what's starving? What's starving? And you haven't eaten in 2 hours, or like you haven't eaten in 20 weeks, So there's the difference between that. So that's why I'm an Aquarius sun, so I can come across very dominating to some people, and especially with like men that I used to work with, like at my job, I'd be like, you weak little, whatever. But I had that mindset of like, well, if I can do it, you can do it. But now when you understand astrology, numerology, there's a reason why everybody cannot do it like how you do it, because everyone's not made up the same. They should all just be like us, and the world would be a better place. But
hey, I know, right?
Whatever.
Yes.
But
I love it. Okay. So, so with the compatibility aspect, and I guess maybe this is a 2-part question. I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, the compatibility could range maybe a little bit with 2 signs maybe that both share a masculine energy, and then vice versa, like 2 signs that both share feminine energy. And then, but how does that work when they cross paths? So like a sign that's more masculine in their energy versus a feminine.
Well, usually, with people with relationships and stuff, I say creator is going to align you with who you're going to be aligned with, whether it's your type or not. Like that's just kind of
Mhm.
like how you have to deal with them, because there's our type and what we like, but then there's also what we need. So there is,
Mhm.
the people who are more, you can be somebody who's more sensitive or more intense, and you'll be aligned with somebody who's the polar opposite because they need to teach you how to tone it down. Or, like there's certain people who like they only have a soft spot for like their child or their daughter, like a man who's like super macho, and then he has like a little girly girl in their
Mm,
life, their
okay.
child, like it helps tone them down. It helps like bring a different side out to them. So that's why, with compatibility, sometimes you're like, people be like, oh, like we don't match or whatever. It's like there's a reason why y'all are together though. And it's to learn the energy of both sides. Now, I don't ever encourage people just to stay with people because like how much you could tolerate. You know,
Right.
it's too
Right.
much. And it's like, all right, not a match like at all. But some things are like, is it that big of a deal? Some things are like, is it that big of a deal? And also, can you teach that person not to change themselves, but how to tone it down or how to like appeal to their
Mm,
side. So did you want me to like kind of go through the energy of the numbers and
sure.
a
Sure.
little bit
Like,
one?
so, and I don't know if this helps, but so I was told that, um, and after I kind of did the research of it, my life number, or I might be saying this wrong,
Life
master number,
path.
life path
Uh-huh.
number is 11. Um, so, and that, to be honest, when the previous guest that I had on, it kind of creeped me out a little bit because I had never shared this with her,
Mhm.
and she said, yeah, a lot of people that are master 11s, they're prone to gout. I was like, wait, what? I was like, how did she been peeping in my window? Like, how did she know that? And
Yeah.
so, and because I've had, well, I don't like to say that I still have it, but
Mhm.
I've dealt with it in the past, but I
Yeah.
haven't had any flare ups
Mhm.
in like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, go
but yeah,
ahead.
no, but that's it. No, I'm just
Oh, okay.
curious, like maybe with that number in mind, like the compatibility, or even just from your perspective, maybe numerology, like, good pairings that you've seen, or maybe kind of not so good pairings,
Mhm.
or how
Well,
that works.
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of stories for days, because I study everybody. I study all kind of people. But like I said, there is something that you're bringing out of the other person. But yeah, I mean, kind of touching back on what you were saying, that every sign is associated, I mean, every number is associated with a planet. And, in
Mhm.
astrology, every planet is associated with a zodiac sign, and every zodiac sign rules a different body part. So that's why we
Mm.
experience certain health, issues and things like that. And with that too, when people experience certain things, they just will experience them. There's no like, I don't know, like even like shame behind it. Like, well, if you didn't smoke all those cigarettes, then maybe you wouldn't have. They have that just the natural inclination
Mm.
for people to do those things, and then it will result in that. People who have a indulgence of sweet or like overdo it. It all comes from somewhere. And that's why I say learn yourself to find balance. So you can't prevent every single thing, but you can know like, okay, this number, this birthday loves to eat sweet food. And so that will lead to these kind of things. So you got to tone it down. You can't take it away from you. That's just going to be you. You're going to want a snack, sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, all right, let me,
Excuse me.
I overdo it, sometimes. But with the compatibility, I've seen all kind of stuff. So I can kind of go through like each number up to 9 and kind of different things you could see with each number. So 1 is the sun. So 1, people whose birthdays add up to a 1, like the 1st, the 10th, the 19th. They can be like the sun is like ego or like Leo or like Aries. It can be competitive,
Mm.
but they can also be people who talk up a big game and they don't actually do things. Like they can be people who get out of labor, like they will DoorDash instead of like going to get the food. I know somebody who's born on the 10th who loves like Instacart. Like they will not go to any kind of store, like They're very like quick and now, and I need to hurry up and get things done. Fire energy. So they're not going to take their time to go up and down every single aisle. It's like, how can I get these to my front door right now? Like the moon, so they can be more sensitive. They can be more of like a nurturing, motherly type. People who are like love food. You can bribe them with food a lot of times with these people. They can be known as also lazy as well because they like comfort. They like to be at home or cozy. As homebody types. Need people. Those are the type that can be also be ones who need a companion, like because it's two. It's a pair. So somebody who's highly independent, like a 1 or a 9, like that person can possibly be like smothering to them because it's like I don't want to be with you 24/7. But the 2 person needs to be with you 24/7. I know someone who's off the top of my head, she's born on the 20th. I mean, she can't do anything by herself. She'll look at me. I remember she told me once, "How do you just go out to eat by yourself?" I'm like, "Because I'm hungry."
Easy, right? Gotta eat, right?
And I'm like, "Let me get a burrito and I'm gonna sit down, like table for 1."
Right.
She's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. She's born on the 20th. They can be known as like being like inactive. She doesn't like lifting weights or nothing. It's very, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna take a daily stroll. So those kind of things can frustrate a person who's like born on the 9th, which is Aries also fire. It's like they need active partners. The 3 is like Jupiter, Pisces, Sagittarius types, creative. I just made a video about this, about they can be perceived as lazy because they need to be inspired. They need to be like inspired on something. Like, I'm not just gonna, if they believe in like high optimism, like everything's gonna be fine, it's gonna be all right because I trust God,
Right.
You don't want to plan, you don't want to like, whatever, like, no, it's just whatever. So they also, though, because it's Sagittarius energy, they can also be like high achieving. I kind of mentioned that in my video, but they also need a partner who is ambitious because they will, even though people see them as lazy, it's not lazy, but the partner is not goal oriented, like they will leave them like immediately. When I posted the original video, the original TikTok, I had a lot of comments under there. There's a couple of people that was like, my person, da, da, da. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Okay, and I will even say in the video, before you give your one-off stories.
Yeah, I've seen you say that. Yeah.
And then that tells me you didn't listen to what I said because you're still giving me a one-off story. But they can be like that too. So what else did I learn about them? The way that they dress can be like over the top for some people because it's like royalty, so they're doing the robe, they're doing this and that. 4 is like Aquarius, so stubborn.
Oh, that's interesting.
Rebellious. Uranian energy. It's even though it's Uranian energy, it's Aquarius, but Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn, so they can be hard, like hardworking, like hardcore squares. Not fun to people. Like work. I got to work, and be very practical about everything. And the 3 person is very spontaneous, and they're like, let's just go here. And the 4 is like, no, we must do work. We must do this, and then we can, So, but also each number, and I've noticed that sometimes people are paired with a number like above them or below them. Because it's like you're evolving to like the next thing. Like the 1 is like independent. I don't need nobody, but the 2 is like, yes, you do need somebody. And then the 3 is like, the 2 is like lazy, but the 3 is like, let's act because it's Sagittarius. It's like fiery. And then the 4 is like, sit down somewhere. And then the 5, 5 is Mercury. So it's like Gemini, Virgo. So they can be the type that, always in their head, can have like a lot of anxiety and a lot of like whatever, but they're also get bored very easily. They can be the type that are non-committal in relationships. They can be very like, I'm bored with you, I'm ready to go to the next thing. So like variety, it's this mutable energy, so and I was watching and everyone's like, I never cheated, I didn't say that. But what I'm saying is that if you don't keep them stimulated, they're going to be ready. They're going to just as fast as they came. They're going to leave. They can ghost you. Those things can be seen. I actually was watching, what was it? Love is Blind. And I started looking up everyone's birthdays. Like the first episode, I was like, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it because he's born on the 5th and she's born on the 3rd. and they didn't make it. And they got all the way to the reunion. I was like, but when I first saw the first episode, I made a reel and I put that as because I know they already filmed it in advance. So I was going to spoil it for the actual couple, but I was like, based on the birth dates, like these two are not going to work out. And she was reposting everyone, but then when it got to me, I was like, hey, I tagged you, like repost that.
Right. And you were right.
I was right though, because 5 is also the sign of like sex. Like they can be highly sexual too. And that was what happened in the show. It's like he wanted it more than she did, or like there was like issues with like he was saying like, I'm going to need this, and she's like, I'll give it to you, but I'm dealing with these situations. And he's like,
it's like, I'm gonna need it.
I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, like those kind of things, you know, you can see that. And then the 6. So 5, again, sexual single. 6 is family. 6 is I need kids. I need the partner. I need, because it's Venus energy. So Taurus and Libra. So they can be the type that really want kids. They can also be moody. They can also be like possessive and like in the home, very possessive over their people and, you know, how they are. So every sign also has its shadow side too. There's no perfect number. But when you see the 6, every time I see somebody with the 6, I'm always like, you want some kids, or do you have kids, or do you want a family? Like they'll say yes. You know, dating somebody. It's like 3 is like Sag, freedom. 6 is like domesticated. They can literally want to propose to you, and then the other person's like, no.
Right, living my life.
But so that too, you know, not taking things personal, learning all of this is like everybody's aligned a certain way, and it doesn't have anything to do with you personally. Kind of sucks sometimes when people really like a person and then they're like, but why can't they just like what I like and be how I want to be? And you know, 7 is like Neptunian energy, so they can be very spiritual or highly scientific. You know, very creative too. Loners, people who don't like them asking them questions about themselves. So these people also, you know, you got to literally leave them alone. If they don't want to be around people, you can't make them feel bad for not integrating with the family. Or, you know, a lot of times with families, like, go talk to your cousins, go talk to your auntie. And you're like, oh, I don't want to.
Right.
You know, so that's also seen with 8. So they can also deal with, and again, it's not everybody, but like financial issues, because it's Neptunian energies like Pisces, and Pisces is dissolving. So, you know, issues like that could come up. And so I have seen a 7 paired with a 4 before. The 4 is very like, why don't you do this? And why don't you do this? And why can't you do this? And the 7 person lives like, God got me, you know, very, very like, but the 4 person, and I'm like, they were together for a good 5 years. But now that I'm aware of the actual story and hearing like the other side of hearing like, oh my gosh, they're really like, they was born on the 31st and the 16th. So the 16th person, even though it's a 7, they can be highly self-sacrificial in relationship, because 6 is the relationship and 1 is self. So this 16th person was always, I mean, accommodating like crazy. Like, I'm like, do you got your own life? Like, what are you doing? You know, so the 16th, if anybody who's born on the 16th, it can be very self-sacrificial in relationship to where they kind of forget about themselves. They forget about what they got going on too. 8 is like Saturn. So they can be more businessy, a little bit more about math, and you know, they're the managers, there's the CEOs, they're the ones who are going to follow the rules. 8 is also like a very misunderstood energy as well. They, like I said, they can seem boring to some people because like 8 is like Saturn, Capricorn. Capricorn can seem boring to people. It's earthly energy. It's all about business and work. And the 3 is like fun. Don't need to plan anything. And the 9 is Aries or Scorpios, Mars. So those people can literally be argumentative. Like they're always going to debate or yell at you for something. They're also,
I know some, thinking of some people in my head. Yeah. Okay.
A lot of competition, you know, very passionate too. It can be humanitarian as well, but they can also be people who need active partner as well, because they're so active. I know somebody off the top of my head was born on the 9th, who, I mean, like literally every girl he was dating was like, you need to get in the gym. You need to go in the gym. We're working out together. Blah, blah, blah. You know, that's how they were with every person that they were with. But that's just like the athletic type. You know, every single 9 is not athletic, but they are active. You know, if they like to walk or they like to go do stuff like that, they could value that and need that in a partner. Cause like, that's how I was like, if I'm going to be going to the gym 5 days a week, like you need to be doing something too. Okay. Some people don't need that though. Some people do not need that. Some like their partner to be however they are. But again, it's all the numbers. And I can think of all kind of people, all kind of combinations that are together. And seeing the active one, the non-active one, or the one who's trying to get the other one to stay home and, you know, be a homebody. And they're like, no, I don't want to be. Like, that's you. That's what you do. But with compatibility, like I said, you just learn each number and you understand the why. You don't take stuff personal. You know, you're like, work harder. You know, it's like,
it's not how they're built.
Work hard. What do you mean that? What do you mean work hard? So yeah, so I've learned not to take stuff like personal. I mean, of course, there's there's so much more into the numbers, but each number, like I said, ties to a planet, and the planet ties to a zodiac sign. And so, you know, some people say, well, numerology is more superior than astrology or whatever, but I feel like astrology can, depending on how good you are, you know, you can see like everything into a person's life. You know, for numerology, I use it more for personality. Yeah, just like more personality traits. But timing of people's lives and what might happen, like you're gonna move all the way to Africa. Trust me, you know, you're gonna move cross country, or you know, that kind of
astrology.
Stuff. With a birth chart, yeah, I can see those things. But with numerology, I kind of just add it as an extra thing. Like I had a client yesterday who's young, he's 24. And he was like, I just need to get into the music industry like today. You know, I was like,
nope.
He was born on the 3rd, which does make you very creative, but it's also Sagittarius energy, which is high optimism, which is like Delulu, which is Pisces. 3 is Pisces and Sagittarius. So the idea is like, yeah, you're gonna have dreams and you're gonna be like, one day I'm gonna blah, blah, blah. But sometimes it can be like, okay, but you're not doing nothing. Like he had no social media. He was like, well, what do you do to promote yourself? He's like, well, I don't have. I'm like, okay, so why do you have this thought in your head? But then I was like, but that's the 3 energy. I told him what he is. I was like, you have to be aware of how high the delusion can get and the reality that is. You know? So that's kind of like the frustrating part of knowing yourself, because like I believe in myself, but then it's like, but am I being delusional? But
right.
I believe, you know,
right. It's gonna happen. Right.
You know it. I think everybody instinctively knows their gifts, but they don't know where it comes from and what they know how to do. Like if you're young, or you know, like I'm gonna be a firefighter, I'm gonna be a whatever. Like, you know why? It's not because of the firefighter aspect, it's because you have helper energy or you have builder energy, you know, and that all comes from the numbers or the dates that you're born. So like when I get these music people and they're born on the 3rd, I'm like, so it's a creative number. It's optimism number. It's, you know, it's fun. It's music. It's cool.
But no real, like plan. And that's so interesting. So I know how you were looking up, you said the birth dates of the people who were on Love is Blind. And so the guy who sounds like he was very highly sexed, where he was the number 5. And so I think that's interesting too, because I see and I'm sure you see it too. You know, a lot of people make these charts and they'll say, oh, the kinkiest sign in bed or the best sign in bed. It usually is Scorpio, is what people say. So if, to your point, it sounds like somebody, let's say a Capricorn, and I don't want to say, well, they do have a reputation of being boring. I don't think they're boring, but they do have that reputation of being kind of straight-laced. So a Capricorn who's born on the 5th of the month, it sounds like probably would still have that, or would have that equal sexual energy as a Scorpio. Is that?
Yeah, but like Capricorn is, and I've noticed too, because they're so traditional, they're not like a PDA type or whatever. Like they can still be that way, but just privately, you know, like
Excuse me.
they won't
Yeah.
outwardly show it. They got a reputation to uphold or something like that. But yeah, like you're right. Like you can be a Capricorn born on the 2nd or the 5th, or you know, so that kind of changes. So that's why some people like they're like, this isn't real because that doesn't sound like me, or you know, whatever. And like, because it's much more complicated than that.
Right. It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Okay. And so with the another point that you mentioned, I thought that was really interesting too, was and I'll just use 7 for instance. Um so someone who, like, let's say they're 7, but their birthday isn't on the 7th, it's actually on the 25th. So
Mhm.
does that mean they have a stronger 2 and 5 energy than the person who was strictly born on the 7th?
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I had someone, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it was a breakdown of those two of the numbers because yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, each one carries a different vibration. They're not like as intense as like like, oh, I'm sorry, it was a 27th person and the 9 because I was like, you like to argue, you like to, but the 7 is like more of like
Excuse me.
loner, you know, who cares? Don't ask me questions, don't talk to me. And then the 2
Mhm.
is also is like moon energy. So they probably will debate, but it won't be as like aggressive as like 9. I know the 9 person I'm thinking off the top of my head definitely argue like argue. Like one of my aunts, she's born on the 27th, and I've never seen her really out of character. But then when I talked to her daughter, my cousin, like she was like, no, she's an angry person. Like she gets
Oh, really?
she argues. But my aunt, it's funny enough now that I'm thinking about this, she bakes every Sunday. So she has the 2 in her birthday, and I told you 2 is food. But she
Uh-huh.
makes cakes and cookies like all the time, like all the time. So yeah, so you can see like, you know, you can take apart the numbers and see like, okay, what other aspect do they have to them? That can also be another thing you could look at.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So do you ever, knowing, this wealth of knowledge and everything that you know, does it ever make it hard for you not to develop like any type of preconceived notions or prejudices for people that um and I'm just throwing this out there, not saying you have, but like let's say, oh, okay, I've had a bad experience with a 3. And then you're like, damn, why am I getting like 4 threes in a row? Like,
Yeah. It's weird. Like, well, synchronicities with clients is one thing too. I've seen synchronized birth times. Like, why are all of you born at 3:34 p.m.? Like, that's
whoa.
weird. I've definitely seen synchronized birth dates too. My last 3 clients were all Scorpio moons. But as far as like prejudices, not to say like, oh, I'm not talking to you, but knowing like, yeah, I'm gonna think automatically, oh, you're 4. Oh, you're probably a square, you know. Probably somebody who believes in working so hard, and you get jealous of people who, just get things so easy. But yeah, so that is in the back of my mind. But because I understand there's a lot more to it, I just know like there might be that one aspect of that person. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Huh.
I'll be like 5th. 5? I heard about y'all.
Right. Like, I don't know.
She's born on the 14th and she has 3 kids. So it takes, you got to do something to get kids. So, I mean,
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Number 3 now. So I'm just saying.
Right. Some truth to it. Right. That's funny. So do you think that you mentioned having people that were born at a certain time.
Mhm.
So is that also kind of like another layer in the matrix of like, okay, the time that you were born or the day?
I think so, because I've just done my own calculations. It's kind of weird of how everything's already been calculated for us, including your birth time, including everything about it. Like people sometimes like they'll have favorite numbers or whatever. And then I'll be like, okay, well, add up your birth time or add up your entire birth date, or, like what number is that? Or do you have all three of your like I had one person say all three of their siblings and all the three of their kids were born on the same number. Like, oh, we're 7, 25, and 16. Like they're all born on the 7 days, and then the parent is something like, completely different. I've seen that. If I look through all of my comments on TikTok, you'll see people saying like, "Oh my gosh, I was born on." I had one person say they were born on October 31st at 10:31. So there's some.
What are the chances of that?
Yeah, I know. There's some stuff that you're like, what? But when like I pay attention to even like I've seen like a grandma born on the 3rd, her daughter born on the 3rd, she married somebody born on the 3rd, and then they had a kid born on the 12th. So it's like down like the lineage of numbers of synchronicity. So people need to pay attention to those kind of things. Why all your siblings are one way, or you think like a parent favors the other one. It's literally just the numbers, it's the signs, it's the all those things. It's not a personal thing. That makes sense. Like I said, a 3 person is gonna look at a 4 person like it's not that serious. You don't gotta
calm down.
Take a day off. It's okay. They're gonna be like, no, it's important. I care about this kind of stuff. So, but again, they're here to teach the other one something. As an Aquarius, we're always getting put into situations where we could be the oddball out all the time, because life has to give you circumstances to remind you of your signs. That's just kind of what it is. So you're going to get put into a family where you're the only one who does astrology, or you're the only one who does this kind of stuff, in a super religious or like being in groups. I mean, as an Aquarius, I don't know if you've ever like, I can't be a part of a group. Like I've never, like I've been in band or I've been in like these groups, but I never felt like I was in the group. I always felt like I was outside. Like the kids had their cliques or they had their own little thing, and then it's like, and it's just me.
You know what? I agree with you. And there are some groups that I've been a part of, and even that I'm still in. But I always feel like my mindset is I'm adding to the group. I'm not of the group.
Yeah.
And I think there's some people who their mentality is like, oh, I'm of the group, and like whatever they do, I'm gonna do. And
yeah. So, like I'd say, like life has to give you things that remind you of who you are. So you're gonna get put into situations where you're looking at somebody and you're like, you need to work harder, because I work hard and you don't. So, but you're also here to teach the other one something, because also too, like the 5 person. Because it's like get bored easily energy, they can also start a lot of things and not finish them. And so 4 is going to keep on like finish it all the way.
Right.
5 is like, I'm bored. I don't want to do this no more. I was like, what happened to that business that you started? And they're like, well, I'm not doing that no more. And so that's why each number teaches the other one something. So you have to like, you can't just do everything, sporadically, or you got to complete something at some time. So that's why everyone's here to teach the other one something. And the other one's also telling you, like, it's not the big of a deal. You can throw that away. You can scrap that. You can start over, so they kind of remind you of those kind of things.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when I started this podcast, and it's funny how things work, because I try to train myself and go outside of my rigid thinking. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But I had, and it's crazy because I don't even remember what the name is now, but I had another name for this podcast, and I was so dead set on that name, and somebody else had a variation that was really close. And they were also in the astrology space. So I was like, no, I can't do it, because then it's going to look like I'm biting off of them. And so I was so upset when I changed the name to the Water Bear. And it's crazy because like 5 or 6 months into doing the podcast, I don't even remember what the original name was.
Yeah.
But I was so set on, no, it's got to be this. It's got to be that.
It has to be. Yeah, well, Aquarius is like very, it's fixed energy. And then on top of that, you're born in a 4, which is a square. Like they say, like you literally can't make these people budge.
Yeah.
Like the reel that I posted with Cameron, and he was born on February 4th. And I also know that he's also an Aries moon. So that fire about him. Like people are like, oh my gosh, and he's always talking about sex, but just Aries is like fire signs or can be highly sexual too. And so just looking at all that, but seeing him being like so mad, so angry, don't copy me,
Yeah.
like, and he always talks about outworking people. I don't know if you watch him. I always watch him.
Yeah.
We're talking about Jim Jones and like, we were doing this way before you.
Yeah.
We've been
It's
around
funny.
long.
Yeah, right. I gained more interest in. I mean, I always thought he was cool. Like he had music here and there that I liked, but when I found out that I shared the same birthday with him, I was like, oh, let me listen to see.
Yeah.
And a lot of his points, I may not agree with the delivery, but the core of what he's saying, I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And like I said, that other aspect of the moon sign, the moon is your emotions. What are your emotions tied to? Aries is sports. Aries is competition. So obviously he's a sports broadcaster or sports analyst or whatever. And so that's just the other dynamic of like why it's not 100%. You got to like look at all those things and why is this person interested in this? Oh, why are they talking? It's Aquarius, it's communication. Like I thought somebody had mentioned, it was like some, I don't know, music guy, and he was like, why is Cameron and Mace doing a talk show or a podcast or whatever? And I'm like, he's an Aquarius. It's a communication sign. I mean, obviously people don't understand it at that level.
Right.
Aquarius.
But it's true, right? It fits.
Yeah,
right.
But that's what it is. So why are you podcasting? Why am I on here? Why am I talking? Everybody doesn't like to talk. Everybody doesn't like to be on camera.
Yeah.
But we're natural yappers. So we got to yap.
That's right. We got to find an outlet to yap. That's right.
I got something to say. I need something to say. Gotta get out. But yeah, so you look at all those kind of things, and yeah, when you share a birthday with somebody, you share similar strengths and weaknesses, and you also share similar like situations in life. So again, the deeper that you go, like you can see, I mean, I've seen so many birthdays, so many combinations, but like I don't know, I'm making one up. Like a certain birthday will always be disrespected at work. People will never take them serious, or they'll be like undermining this is like a birth chart placement, but just knowing that like you could see a life circumstance that happened to you and then being like, oh, a person who shares my birthday has also dealt with something like that before. There are going to be similar patterns. I know, but people don't really know people who share their birthday or don't look into the depth of it. It's not just behavior, but it's also like certain life happenings. Like I know one that off the top of my head, well, no, actually I won't say that one. No, but I've seen stuff like people. There was one that I saw that I was kind of researching, and that said these people are not physically active at all. Like they will not do no kind of exercise, like verbatim, not just because like, oh, this is but it's like literally say no physical activity is advised for this birth date. Like everyone's body cannot handle certain. So. And because I always send my clients a questionnaire before I do the reading, because you can just see so much in a chart. I'm like, okay, well, what do you specifically want to like focus on? But they had mentioned that before, and I'm assuming that maybe they had been told from someone else who was overly active, like you need to go, you need to work out,
or you need to just do it.
Why can't you do that? So I've also talked to, I was talking to somebody who, this is not numerology, but in astrology, your Mars sign is your action sign, your physical, like, are you the type that's going to run 5 miles? Or are you the type that's going to sit on the couch for, because you're not active or you don't have that motivation? And so this person is like, I can't, they actually texted me. They're like, I can't discipline myself to work out every single day. And I was like, well, your Mars is in Gemini. And when I tell you, Gemini gets bored very easily. Virgo gets bored very easily. So this person does always, I'm bored. I need to do something. I'm bored. But there's no, again, it's start something and not finish it. So it can't keep a consistent, schedule. It cannot keep consistency. So that's why when you learn yourself and when you learn that some people like you can be disciplined, some people cannot. This is from me who, I would preach all the time to my students, like, why can't y'all just love school and love it like me? And learn like me and, be like me. Everyone should
Right.
because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm fun, I'm entertaining. I try to at least, make this as digestible as possible while still,
Right.
following the rules and doing that. But it doesn't matter. Like I said, even you could be the best looking person, you got the most money, but people's alignment will not allow them to like that kind of stuff, or like you can be super rich, but if you're like Aquarius, we don't do fake. It's very like I can't stand like a superficial person who like really like I joke sometimes. I'll be like, I'm the queen, I'm the whatever. But I don't actually believe that kind of stuff.
Right. You just joke. Yeah.
They really believe that stuff, or they'll be like flashy or whatever. Like, cannot do those kind of people. And so it doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have. Like, my personality doesn't allow me to align with your personality. And again, it doesn't matter the appearance, doesn't matter the external, but some people believe that they can just win people over like that. I mean, I've had people tell me, I got this car, I don't care. Okay, I don't care. I don't care about here because Aquarius values and the air signs value intellect.
Yes.
You can't have a conversation. No matter if you got a BBL, it doesn't matter about that.
Right. Like, yeah, what's in your head? What's in your mind? Yeah.
So, and then some, I've been seeing, do you watch Pop the Balloon? Do you ever see those kind of clips and stuff? Like,
yeah, I see. They're hilarious.
Yeah. And so sometimes people be like, the girl has all the work done and all, they're like, boop. And like, I don't do the makeup. I don't do, and when I learned about that too, like earth sign men are more natural. They don't like lashes and all that kind of stuff because it's nature, it's natural. I remember somebody telling me, and I don't think I wear a lot of makeup, but I was told
no, not at all.
They got to take off I used to do the lashes and stuff, but it wasn't like lamb chop. It wasn't like it was a little, a little toned down. But I'm like, I'm not even wearing a lot of makeup. What are we talking about? I don't wear blush and I don't do none of that stuff. It don't take me no hour to do stuff. But even that was like too much for me. It's like, that's too much makeup. I'm like, okay.
Really?
Whatever. But some do. Some don't care about that kind of stuff. So it's all like everything is tied to, charts and numbers and all that. And I've learned my own lesson of not taking anything personal, like nothing. Nothing. I had somebody tell me, you talk about politics too much. I'm like, I'm an Aquarius. I like debate.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Wait, so you're gonna do that.
Watch people debate. I like to be like, yeah, bring on the facts. Because somebody had mentioned in my TikTok earlier of like Aquarius is very observant and also very what some people think is what's that word where like kind of contradictory, but just like a walking contradiction. Like because we see both sides. So
even if we don't agree with it.
Yeah, like like you can, like you said, like Cameron, you don't agree with everything, but you can look at him and be like, okay, what he said, Matt, that made sense. That made sense, but that doesn't make sense. So then they're like, well, do you like them or not? Like, well, I'm not going to dismiss an entire person I'm going to look literally at both sides. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I like what they said. Okay, I also like what they said, but they're enemies, but they're opposites. It's like, I don't care,
Right.
Like,
yeah, they both have good things to say.
Yeah, it's logic. Aquarius is logic and communication. So, I'm talking too much.
No, I love it.
I'm talking too much. But yeah, like I've literally learned to not take anything personal. And again, when people are unaware, they will take it personal. They will try to change themselves. And because I used to be like, well, I do talk about politics a lot. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't post it. Maybe I shouldn't say it. But then I'm like, no, that's me. Yeah, especially at work. People always tell me, why you always gotta be different? Why you always gotta? I'm like, I'm not. It's just now I'm thinking back and I'm like, life just has to put me in a room of 200 people and the only one who's gonna say something.
Right.
Like, somebody got to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm just like whatever with people now. I don't care about. Be like, when's your birthday? Okay, cool. Like, I don't judge anybody. Like, I don't care what you tell me you do for a living or how you get money or nothing. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. I'm not I really can't think of anything. Well, it may be a couple things, but for the most part, there isn't much that I would be judgmental about.
Yeah. Like I always say, I'm still going to judge you. I'm not gonna say anything though, because I'm just too, like I said, aware. I mean, I'll joke with people and be like, "Ooh," but I don't really care. Like, I honestly don't. I just want to know the why. Like when I ask people questions, like, I want to know why. Like, why do you do OnlyFans? Like, let me see your chart. Like, why?
Oh,
You know,
maybe there are 5.
why? I want to see where it comes from, because there's a lot of people who do the exact same thing. We just feel like there's just they're the only ones. Like, no, they're not. There's a lot of people, because there's only 12 signs, there's only there's people are different, but there's only so many combinations
Right.
that you can have. There's only so many moon signs you can have. So we're a lot more similar than we think. But no one talks to each other. Nobody asks questions. And also people they feel like their circumstances, they're the only one that goes through or is going through that. They feel special. I'm like, no one's special. Okay. Nobody's special. I got a lot of heat for saying that. People like to think they're special, but we're really not.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Aquarius, that don't make me special.
Right.
Special. It's like it's special to you and your world, but there's a lot of people born on you and Cameron. You're not special, so it's Cameron.
Right. Exactly. Right.
But everyone's unique in their own world.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you this, because I know, you're a content creator, and with your business and astrology and everything, and how I first discovered you was on TikTok. So what are your thoughts on this TikTok ban
going away? Oh my gosh. I'm not like, I was anti TikTok before, because I was let people know I was anti TikTok. Political, propaganda got me and told me that it's stupid and there's only dances on there, and whatever. I didn't really care about the whole China data thing, because I'm like, y'all have our information anyways.
Right.
But it was more of like thinking it was just a stupid app with like stupid things on there. And now I see the power of it. The algorithm's crazy. And so when they're like, oh, it's going to be banned, I'm like, what? I just got on it. Like,
right. Why now?
And the reach is different. Somebody had made the observation of saying, like, people prefer TikTok because it's usually people you don't know. It's a lot of strangers. And Instagram, Facebook, like, these are your classmates or, your coworkers.
They're not paying as much attention.
Family. And it's also more of like an aesthetic over there. It's like your best pictures. And TikTok's like, who cares? I'm filming whatever, recording whatever. There's no like, people are just propping up and talking, as opposed to like the other ones where they're trying to curate the perfect photo and image and whatever. So I didn't panic, but I was also at the same time, I was like, dang, like I really connected with people from like around the world on there. Easier. And also going live was something I did not want to do until it was suggested to me by a Pisces to go live.
I can see them being the ones.
Oh, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, when I was like, I'm really gonna have to get on Instagram Live. That's crazy. I don't want to do that. Like I don't
right.
Hopefully it doesn't go away. I mean, I don't think it will, just because it's too much money in that. There's way too much money in TikTok. People would revolt. I mean, Gen Zers will revolt. They're making money. They're making bank on there. And even like I said, just finding like one person finding me. I had a client from London. I had a client from Scotland who was on my live today. And on my website, it'll show me where they clicked my link from. So I see from TikTok,
Wow.
I'm like, don't take it away. We got a lot of yappers on here. Like, we got to talk. We got to say something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the reach is crazy on there.
It is. I agree. Yeah, it's a different kind of reach, and it's different, like you said, different crowd of people. Like you, and then there's other people that even I've had on this podcast, and even others who haven't been on the podcast, maybe not yet, or maybe just aren't into astrology in that way, but still, ordered some of their products, and it's just a different community.
Mm-hmm. You're actually really funny on there. I do laugh at like how you stare into the camera and stuff. That's pretty funny.
I try to, because I'm like, okay, making sure like I'm actually like talking to you.
It's the pauses that like make it funnier.
Oh, really?
Somebody's saying something or whatever. I don't know if you've seen the guy who's going viral. There's like an LED lights guy on TikTok, but he'll take like a clip from somewhere else and then he'll promote his business, saying, all kind of stuff. But he pauses, and because it's like, did I just hear what I just heard?
Like what?
Anyways, there was 4 guys. I don't know, people are gonna take offense to this, but anyways, I'm just repeating what was on the video. So there was 4 guys like dancing like in the living room, like some young teenage guys doing some synchronized TikTok dance, and they're saying their names. They're like, "Hi, I'm so and so. I'm so and so. I'm so and so," and they're like, "And we're," and it cuts, and then the guy's like, "Gay. You guys are gay," and whatever. And it's like, well, anyways.
Then he starts promoting this stuff.
But yeah, like people, you can be so creative on there, so funny on there. It's not like Instagram. Facebook, I got rid of that a long time ago. They're just too sensitive on there. I can't do the sensitivity, curious.
Yeah.
You can do the sensitivity.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
Because they're too truthful and too like, it's just real. It's just like, what did I say that was not correct? But people want the emotional aspect, but I always tell everybody, don't ever change yourself, because there's always somebody who agrees with you. It's just, I think with our platforms, it's more like emotions. But Gen Zers, because they're born under Sag energy, that fire energy, they're very like blunt and like humor, and like they'll put racist things up, and it's just funny to them. Like it's just, everything's funny with Sagittarius. Is funny. Everything's funny and nothing is serious. That's Sagittarius.
you just okay. Yeah, you confirmed something for me. So my dad is a Sagittarius, and I get this from him, and I think it's actually one of his best traits.
Yeah.
He will find the funny in anything. It could be the most disastrous thing, but he's going to find some humor in it.
Yeah.
And he's Sagittarius, like you said.
Yeah, it is. It's just like an unserious energy. Like the fires and stuff that happened in California, like you see some Gen Zers like going back to their homes and being like, well, here, they just make fun of like disaster. And so that's why I always tell people, don't change yourself, because there is an audience for how you are. You've got to find them. I've said so much stuff that it's like, oh, I can't believe you said that. You're a teacher. You're this. You're that. I'm like, it's real.
Right. Yeah.
It's coming from observation. We're an observing sign. Aquarius is looking at everything. Is looking at both sides. So it's looking at everything.
Yeah.
Are you a people watcher? I
am. And I so I write books as well. And so a lot of time, this was more so pre-COVID. If I was writing a novel or something like that, I liked getting out of the house and going to Starbucks and writing, because a lot of times it could be the simplest thing, like, somebody, one of my biggest pet peeves, I hate for, if I'm holding open the door for a woman and the guy just walks in like I'm holding it open for him. And it's like, no, I've got to the point now, I kind of let the door hit him.
That infuriates me. So that hurts me when I'm holding the door and a guy walks out. I ain't holding it open for you.
Right.
And they don't say anything. They don't say anything either. That frustrates me.
Yeah, I hate that. Yes, it could be something like that small that I'll incorporate and I'll put it in the book. It's like, yep, I'm gonna write that in.
Like, oh my gosh, I have so many pet peeves. Everything bothers me. Just everything bothers me. I saw a TikTok earlier to this guy was like, when people walk slow in front of me, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're just the most annoying, worst person on earth. But if they're walking next to me at the same pace, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the most annoying person on earth. He's like, And if they're behind me and they try to get around me and go fast, I'm like, slow down. Like
that's me. I can't.
no, and so I sent it to my friend. I was like, this is me. And she was like, yeah, that is. I'm like, because everyone annoys me. Everything annoys me, but I understand why. So I learn and I learn it and I just accept it. I've used Aquarius is air. I don't remember what was your moon or your rising sign?
So, okay, so you brought me to a question I was going to ask you too. So I have a moon and rising in Leo.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
I was wondering in the big three, if you have like two or even three, well, I guess not three, but if you have two of the same sign, does that outweigh the other sign
I
sometimes?
mean a little bit, but also too because they're opposites. You're born on a full moon, because it's the sun and moon are opposite energies. It could be also a representation of mother father being opposite or on different pages, or like they're two totally different people too. But you do embody, like you could be an Aquarius with like 10 Leo placements and you're like more Leo like, even though Aquarius is more of like behind the scenes and not want to be seen, and then Leo's look at me,
Right.
So I've seen that. But I have a lot of Leo risings in my life. Like a lot. My best friend's a Leo rising. My dad's Leo rising. I have probably got about 5 that I talk to like every day that are all Leo rising. I'm like, what are y'all here to teach me?
Right. What's going on here?
Well, maybe because I'm Scorpio. Scorpio is like very like it's dark, it's hidden, and Leo's like sun and
bright. Yeah.
they're like, get out there, go, show yourself. I'm like, no, I'm hiding.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm okay right here. But yeah, I think I forgot what I was going to even say. That's another thing. Aquarius is forgetful. I will forget everything except a birthday. I'll forget where I parked. I will forget
too.
like what did I wear yesterday?
Keys.
Did I eat
wallet.
earlier? But I'm like, oh yeah, and I do remember you saying Leo. But I remember Leo moon and rising. But what was I gonna say about that? I don't know. I'm talking too much.
No, you're good.
I can't remember what I was gonna say about the sun and that's what I was gonna say. Because the sun is our soul personality. A lot of times people can, like let's say you have a fire rising. Fire can be intense with people. Leo is like more of like the friendly fire. Aries is like, I'm gonna fight you and I'm gonna beat you up.
Right.
But let's say if you're an Aries rising, you could outwardly just everything irritates you, everyone irritates you, you hooting and hollering at everybody, and you want to take it to the next step, but the sun or the soul, like it's air, it's like it extinguishes the flame. So I don't know if you felt like your emotions and your rising like is a little bit more fiery, but then the Aquarius is like, it don't even matter. It don't even matter. Nothing matters. Who cares? Like, because it's the wisest of all the signs, of all the air signs. And so that's how I can find myself too of being like that. I know a Pisces sun with a Leo rising. I know a Gemini sun with a Leo rising. Two totally different. I know a Leo sun with a Leo rising.
Ooh, whoa, that's interesting.
Another Aquarius sun with the Leo rising too. She's born on the 14th. She's born on Valentine's Day. So, seeing how all the different dynamics play out, and literally your soul at the end of the day is the one that I feel like that's the one that wins people over. Because there's been times my Scorpio and be like, get him back.
Yeah.
For revenge. But then I'm like,
the Aquarius, like I agree with that, because I feel like other people don't see it, but in my head, I'm talking myself off the ledge a lot. In my head, I'm like, all right, I really want to say this, or I really want to do that, and then the Aquarius part is like, just chill out, like don't do it.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna say it, and then my moon sign is like, but I'm gonna say it. We both have fire moons, so it's like, but I'm gonna say that.
Right. And I have, but I know you mentioned Aries too, because I found this app. Now I don't know how accurate it is. I forgot the name of the app, but it's I think it's called Astro. Let me see, Astro something. Somebody told me about it, and so Astro Matrix. And what was interesting was just by the sheer numbers,
Uh-huh.
the sign that came up the most in my, I guess that would be my chart. I don't know.
Mhm.
Was Aries,
Okay. Do you
and
have you seen like your moon, your Mars, your Mercury, all that kind of stuff? I mean, I know your moon, but like the other planets in your chart?
I have. So like, let me see. I think I still, yeah, I do still have the app. I'm pulling it up now to see what it says. So, and I don't know what some of this stuff means, but I know. So it says I have a, um, wait, what is this? Well, now it's different, I guess, because it's saying my, oh, it's saying what's currently there. So it's saying currently right now, my moon is in Scorpio.
Oh no, that's just
It's
the
a planets or
worldly current planets. Yeah. No, not your birth chart. Those are not your birth. Yeah, the moon is in Scorpio. I did tweet that today. The moon is in Scorpio. Everybody's in their favorite.
okay. Okay. Well, there was something else I saw on here, and maybe they've taken it out now. But I remember seeing that Aries was pretty dominant
Mhm.
compared to
Yeah.
the other signs.
Do you like walk fast or
I do, and,
drive
and
fast and
yeah, and I do get annoyed easily in traffic, and I do a lot of Instacarts, like
Mhm.
just for like side
Yeah.
cash,
Uh-huh.
and it annoys me to no end. Like if somebody's, yeah,
Exactly.
they're like, and I'm like, just move the basket or like get on this side or you know.
So much. That is like I was in HEB yesterday and I'm like, you unaware people. Like your cart is blocking the whole aisle. You're blocking the doorway. You're walking slow like nobody it just has anything to do. Move out of the way. And then what bothers me is like Aries energy is again impulsive. It doesn't think sometimes. You just say things or do things where like there'd be like three people with a cart like this and then like no one's saying anything and they're like, well, I think maybe they'll notice I have a cart here and then maybe
They'll move, right?
excuse me.
Yeah.
Blurt it out. Like somebody say something. Come on now. Like everyone's so timid and so. But again, I always like think in the back of my head like, okay, maybe they're just earth signs, maybe they're just water signs. You know, they don't move fast. They need to move
Yeah.
fast. If everyone move fast, we'd all be crashing into each other. Okay.
Well, that's
So,
true. That's true.
so somebody got to be slow. Some people have to be
That's
slow.
true.
I'll kind of balance it all out. But yeah, that is yeah. I mean, Aries
Yeah.
is athletic, Aries is competitive, Aries is a crybaby, Aries is it's all.
I've heard a lot of people say that that Aries. Oh, and I did find it now where the other things where I have Aries. So like I have my Venus, my Mars, my midheaven. I don't know if I said that right. My Lilith. They're all Aries.
Venus and Mars in Aries.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Are they in the same?
Is that good or bad?
There's no good
Like
or bad.
caution, like
Like Venus and Mars. It's like in love, it could be very impulsive in love or quick to like fall for somebody, or as quick as you fall for them, now you're like, I'm bored with you. I don't want to be with you no more. They can be like that. I know a female friend of mine who has a Mars in Aries, who she only likes athletes. She's
really.
very, I only, yeah, because Aries is sports and competition and working out. And she likes somebody with like a fit body who is athletic. She was a cheerleader. So, there's just like, again, that's where where I had somebody tell me like, you're being superficial because you only want this and this and this, and like, well, that's just how I'm made up. Like astrologically,
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I look
what you.
for.
Yeah,
So when I see like now, because I had the mindset like if everyone should like to eat the way that I do and work out the way that I do, but that's just not a thing. So using Venus and Aries or Mars and Aries, they are more competitive or like competition or like it's cardinal energy. So it's like the starter of things, the starter of ideas starts the season, starts spring. So they can be the starter of things, or like people take initiative. Because my friend should be like, oh, I need a boss. Like I need somebody who's like boss, like that's Aries is the first sign, So But I mean, it depends on like where your house placements are. That all makes a difference too. But just the natural energy of those signs also too. Do you spend money quickly? Like, do you like just?
I don't think I'm that frivolous. I think I kind of sometimes I may have an impulse every now and then to spend, but for the most part, so for instance, I'll give you an example. So I'm in the same apartment complex, but I purposely tried to find a unit that had cheaper rent because I know in March I'm going to have to start paying my student loan payments back.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's the four energy kind of like taking over everything.
Right.
Right. It's like I don't want to be broke, so let me downgrade to this other apartment.
Well, like I said, it depends on like your birth chart, but Venus is associated with love and also money. So they can be very like not YOLO, but just live in the moment, live in the now, not think about spending things, And again, as we mature, we change our habits and things like that. But the Aries is quick and fast, and that's why I asked you, do you walk fast? I'm going to the mall. I'm like, get out of my way, like move.
Yeah.
I'm that person, and then I get told by an Earth Mars, don't nobody care about you swinging your ponytail when you walk.
Damn.
I'm like, well, move, like, move away, like, don't nobody care. Like, move. I'm like, well, they need to get out of the way and walk faster. Right. I don't know where I'm going, but I need to get there quickly. I had a kid tell me that too. They'd be like, Miss, why are you always rushing us all the time? I'm like, I don't know. But now I understand it's fire. It's sad. Come on now.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
I will have no reason. Like there was no deadline and there was no time. It was just like, hurry. Why? Because you have to.
Finish it quick. Yeah. I'm the same way. Like I try to multitask stuff because even if I don't have anything to do, I'm like, well, as soon as I finish this, then it'll give me more room to do whatever I want to do next.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey.
Thank you. As an Aquarius, I'm gonna forget to eat, so I gotta hurry and eat.
Oh yeah. No, we definitely want to make sure you eat. No, I appreciate it. So before I let you go, I definitely do want to play the Dead in the Water game with you again. So I do have different questions for you this time. So it'll be for those who are maybe unfamiliar with the game and how this works. It's 5 this or that questions that I'll ask Jalisa. And basically, instead of telling me the one that she likes the most, she'll tell me the one that she would actually throw back in the water or the one that she would get rid of. So, these birthstones, garnet or amethyst, which one are you throwing away?
Oh, the first one, garnet. I think that's the red one, right? It's red. I think that's Capricorn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you're throwing that one away. Okay. All right. So this one, I'm really interested to see what you say. Teacher or student? Which one?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't know anything unless you have a teacher. But then, who are you teaching if you don't have students? I have to get rid of the students.
Get rid of students. Okay.
I just talk to myself. I just talk to the wall. Like,
Get rid of the students. Hey, all right. Okay. So between content creation, reels, like short reels, or long form content, which one would you throw away?
That's a good one because I talk really fast and I like people to get to the point. So I'm very pro reels, but long form, I'm a yapper. We got to get rid of the reels though. The attention span of people is too short. So
it is. I agree. Okay, get rid of the reels. Okay. All right. So between these two, now you can think of it in two ways. So the literal fruit or just the flavor, mango or strawberry, which one would you get rid of?
I barely got put onto mangoes. That's crazy. I'll take. Oh yeah, I know. I'm late. I'm late with everything. You have a weird. Okay, Aquarius is known for having the best diet as far as like eating routines. Are you like snacker or like on the go type. Okay.
Yeah. I eat, so my meals are fairly healthy,
Yeah.
but where I go wrong is that snacking, I take it overboard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Snacking
person
gets me.
snacker. Yeah. So that's why I love strawberries because it's like,
Yeah,
but
just quick.
it tastes way better. So I'm gonna get rid of the strawberries. I love
Get
both.
rid of them. Okay, I do too. Yeah. Okay. And so, with the perfect birthday celebration in mind, would you rather a house party or a night out?
Definitely a house party. So I'm getting rid of the night out. Yeah.
Okay, that would be me too. I like good house party. Okay.
Mhm.
Hey, well, Jalisa, I appreciate you. This is like, I love the first episode, but this one was even better. I feel like it was just more in depth.
Every day I learn a lot more. So then every time I come back, I'm like, I got more to tell.
Right. I love it. Well, is it, just before we close out, is there anything that you want to share with the viewers and the listeners?
I'm gonna go on my Sagittarian rant really quick.
Hey, I'm ready.
We gotta respect teaching. We have to respect people who do this for a living because there's a misconception that people who are in any kind of service field, because they have they want to help, that they should just do it at no cost. And I'm not just talking monetarily. I'm talking about energy exchange wise. Like if somebody's providing a service for you, like one, they don't have to do that for you.
Yes.
But also respecting people's time and effort and energy and all those kind of things. Yeah, because I just have to go on rants with people all the time. They're like, why do astrologers charge so much? I'm like, it's not so much, okay? Like, you buy a pair of shoes that are way more than that, okay? Like some people are, I mean, some people $40, $30 are like, I'm like, your meal. I'm giving you years of your life. You're telling me that's too much? So I don't do cheap energy. I'm a cheap person.
I love it. No cheap energy.
I'm a cheap person as far as like I love a good deal, but I'm not going to go up to the person and be like, can I have a free? Can you discount it? Can you give me 50% off? Like that's just what it is, you know? So it's not, don't look at astrology or numerology as a deserving, like everybody deserves it at no cost. Sharing platforms. You said it earlier, like, what did you say? Subscribe to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, exchange the energy. If somebody's giving you all this information, at least tap, at least like,
something. Yeah,
at least something. And then people get all demanding and stuff. I'm like, hold on now. I'll read my comments all day. Like, oh, was she over there liking? I saw somebody say she over there liking everybody's comments, but she's not responding to me. I don't have to. Who are you? You know, like what?
And the like is the reaction. I mean, like, that would take you forever to go through all those comments and
but it's like you're not a paying client. You're not a like complaining to you. Why didn't you bring me my stuff? Why didn't you bring my groceries? You didn't book with me. You didn't pay. Like what are you talking about over there? Like no. You know, so I feel like just teaching in general is just like a non-respected profession. And so I wish people would respect it more. Everybody has to go through a teacher at some point in their life. Not even through public school. Somebody teaches them something.
Yes.
I think the internet made people believe that everything is free. And it's not. You know, so.
I agree.
A rant, you know.
Hey, I love it. No cheap energy.
We don't do cheap. I literally block people who are like that because I'm like I said, I love a good deal. I love saving money, but don't be that person. Don't be that person. Like, I'm not lives anymore. You're not doing it. No, I'm blocking you. I don't do cheap.
Right.
I put out way too much content in general. Like I have like probably 1,000 videos online that people can access. And then on top of that, you want me to do something another?
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here with that. Get out of here. That's why I have my website right here.
Hey, that's right.
And I'm like, somebody going to their job and being like, hey guys, just volunteering. You don't got to pay me. I'm just here to help. No one's doing that. Okay. So
right.
In any service profession.
Yeah. I agree. Totally agree. Agree.
Go all day with that.
Wow. Well, thank you again. I can't agree with you more on that. That's going to be my vibe for the year. No cheap energy.
No cheap energy. Like,
Yeah.
no cheap energy. We don't do that. We are all entitled to abundance, however that looks for anybody. It could be monetarily, it could be with health, it could be payment, whatever.
Yeah.
Be cheap.
Yeah.
Be cheap with your energy.
That's right.
Mhm.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again, Jalisa. I appreciate it. Make sure y'all go follow Jalisa. I'm gonna put up the social media info here one more time so y'all can see that scrolling, and then also go check her out at her website, where you will have to pay JalisaDanielleAstrology.com. So make sure y'all click on it.
I do the most for people who like invest into themselves and invest into me. Like, I'll go overboard, but if you got to give me that little bit, you know.
Yeah, I gotta give something too.
Yeah, I wish I had better handles though. Somebody took the ones that I wanted, so that's why I had to put those underscores in there.
Oh, okay, I got you. See, that sounds like me. Yeah, I had other ones in mind too, and I'm like, well, okay, water bearer it is.
Delete your account.
Right. I love it. Well, hey, I appreciate you again, Jalisa, and thanks everybody for watching, tuning in, and make sure you tune in next week at 7 p.m. Peace.
All right, see ya.
All right.
Poor